Hi guys, this is Julia and this is Jolie, and I want to talk today about the importance of desire. And this month we've been doing a lot of work as it relates to awakening. Spring is a beautiful time to awaken to ourselves. The earth is awakening, the days are getting longer, everything's beautiful and green and it's coming up in this hemisphere, and it's just amazing. That energy that we have in our space, in our earth, in our universe right now, that energy affects us, and we get this feeling of awakening during spring. And so how can we work with this feeling to help create more of what we want, help to create a more beautiful life? Jolie is all about living beautifully, eating beautifully. How do we begin the process of awakening? And the seed, one of the seeds to awakening, is getting in touch with desire. And I know for many women, we've lost contact with desire. If I ask you to list 10 desires, you're likely to be like, oh, I have so many. And then you start listing them and we get down to like 8, 9, and 10, and it's hard to come up with. Or you feel like totally materialistic, or you're just like, they're just things. And we know on a deeper level that things aren't really what's going to make us live beautifully or feel beautiful, feel abundant, feel radiant, feel full of aliveness. So what do we do? How do we connect to that desire? So desire is, I want you to think of it as that fire in you that tells you what you want and need, either in this moment or in the future, or what's missing that you want and that you need. So desire is really, really, really important. And I want you to take a moment to think about when you were little, like say 6 or 7 years old. I have a 7-year-old. He's a wonderful example of when we're that age, we're so attuned to our desires. So we wake up and we know, I need to stretch. And he lets himself stretch. He goes to his closet and he's like, what do I want to wear today? And he puts on the thing that makes him feel good. Or he walks into the kitchen, it's breakfast time, and he's not hungry, so he doesn't eat. Or I just want ham this morning, Mom. Or just slice me apples. Or sometimes it's like, Mom, I need pancakes and sausage and syrup and the whole 9 yards. But he knows, like, this is what I want, this is what I feel like today. And then he goes about his day, and then it's like, oh, I'm bored being home. Mom, I need to go to the park. So he'll go to the park and he'll run around and run around and run around. And then he'll be tired and he'll sit down. Because why? Because he desires to sit down. I need to sit down. I gotta sit down. He comes home, changes his outfit. I need something new. Okay, this is an example of how in touch with what we want, with our desires, we are when we're little. We know them. We don't even have to think about them. I ask him, what do you want for dinner? He knows. I ask him, do you want to go to Chipotle or cheesecake? And he knows. I ask him, where do you want to go for vacation? He has more places to go than I have time to take him. So when we're little, we're really in touch. However, time goes by, we spend a lot of time focused on others. I do this too, and this was a huge part of my motherhood journey, is being so intensely focused on my children that I lost sight of me. I lost sight of, ooh, what do I want? What do I like to eat? What do I like to do? How do I like to relax besides a cup of wine, a glass of wine? All of those things. So when we are constantly focused out and meeting everybody else's needs, we kind of close our ears to that tiny, still voice that tells us what we need. And that tiny, still voice is telling us our desires. And desires are big. Like, I want a house on the beach. Desires are little, like I really want roasted chicken for dinner. So part of awakening, part of feeling alive is knowing our desires, knowing what we want. The second part to this is I want you to realize or to know or to accept that your desires are yours, meaning that I like to say that you have no choice in your desires, that your desires are given to you by God, they're given to you by the universe, and they're there because they exist as a possibility for you. So if I desire a house in Cape May happens to be my favorite beach of the Jersey Shore. If I desire a house on Cape May, that house is already there for me. That's why I desire it. That's why I have this feeling. And it's even like, why Cape May? Why not Mantoloking? Why not Avalon? Why not all these other places where my kids want to go? Why Cape May? I can't explain it. I go to the places, I like them, but Cape May just feels like home to me. I don't have a choice in my desire. It's what is given to me by God. My kids ask me, oh, did you want to have 7 kids? And basically, I tell them I basically wanted each one at a time. So I had 1 and I wanted another. I had 4 and I wanted another. I had 6 and I wanted another. I had 7, I didn't want any more. You don't have a choice in your desire. Yeah, life would be easier if there were just 2 of them. I would have so much more time, resources, everything. But I had no choice in that desire. That desire is given to me. It's part of my uniqueness, just like your desires are part of your uniqueness. That means they can't be wrong. They can't be, oh, that's too much. Oh, you're never satisfied. No, it's not possible. Your desires are given to you by God because they're meant for you. So if your desire is to teach children to read, that's because you're meant to have that desire. You're meant to go in that direction, either to do that thing or there's something along the way that's meant for you. So I want to be clear that you don't have a choice in your desire. And in that, there's no wrong desire. So there's no need to judge ourselves for what we want. There's no need to judge ourselves for our desires. So your desire might be to have family dinner every Sunday. I remember that when I was a kid. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody, we went out for family dinner. That might be your desire. Some people have had that experience and they're like, please, no. So it depends, but really your desire is your desire and there's no right or wrong. It's given to you by God. So now we've discovered why desire is important because it connects us to that aliveness, that life force within us. And we've discovered that we don't have a choice in what we desire. So what happens when you don't have any desires, or you can't think of anything, or you don't even know what you want? How then do you connect to that desire? How then do you connect to aliveness? There are many ways that can help you to be more attuned to yourself so that you're more aware of your desires. And the first is the check-in, which I talk about a lot because it's available to everyone and it's something you can begin doing this very moment. So the check-in is developing a constant conversation with yourself about what you want and what you don't want. It helps you key into desires. So it's evening here, I'm doing this. So my check-in might look like, what do I want for dinner? I want chicken. Do I want to roast it? Do I want to saute it, grill it? What do I want to go with it? Where do I want to have dinner? Outside? In the kitchen? At the dining room table? What plates do I want? How much do I want to eat? How much do I not want to eat? Do I want red wine? Do I want white wine? Do I even want wine? After dinner, do I want to clean up right now? Or do I want to go for a walk first? Do I want to load the dishwasher, or do I want to wash the dishes by hand? What music do I want to listen to as I'm doing this? Well, how do I feel? The music, I wanted to match my feelings, so how do I feel? That is an example of a check-in. So a check-in is just you're constantly in dialogue with yourself to know what it is that you want, to know what it is that you like, that you don't like. And I want you to know more than anything that you have choice. But when we don't know what we want, it looks as if we have no choices. So that's one way. And the other way that you can discover what you want is a wonderful exercise that I totally love, is if I were a bitch, if I were a bad girl. And this was given to me by one of my teachers. So this exercise, ground rules, none of it needs to be real. You don't have to do any of it, but it's a way that you can get in touch with your underlying desire, that underlying fire. So if I were a bitch, tells me where I want boundaries and I don't have them. So so you take a piece of paper, on the top of it, if I were a bitch, and then you feel it in. If I were a bitch, I would demand that my coffee be made perfectly every day. If I were a bitch, I would not invite so-and-so to the party. If I were a bitch, I would never return a book to the library. If I were a bitch, I would drive as fast as I want, whenever I want, and weave in and out of traffic. If I were a bitch, I would cancel at the last minute. So that tells me, okay, where do I need boundaries? So if I were a bitch and I would drive reckless, why? Is it because I'm always in a rush? If that's the case, then what do I need to carve out of my life to give myself more time? So it's an underlying desire to do that. If it's because I need the thrill of going fast, okay, what else can I do that's not reckless that gives me the thrill of going fast? Maybe I take up speed skating. Who knows? So that is a wonderful exercise where the answers are kind of like clues to what your underlying desires are. If I were a bad girl, I would, what would I do? If I were a bad girl, I would sunbathe every single day, regardless of what I have to do. If I were a bad girl, I'd refuse to fold laundry or go grocery shopping or put away groceries. If I were a bad girl, I would have all my gardening done for me and say it was mine. Those are things. So underlying desire. I hate doing laundry and I hate putting away groceries. So what can I do with that? How can I change or shift so I don't have to do laundry? Maybe I teach all the kids to do their own laundry. Underlying desire, I want to sunbathe every day. I want time where my skin feels the sun every day. Okay, so that means a few things need to be shifted around, a few things need to be cut out, so you have time to do that. That's one way of getting in touch with our desires, is using this imagination. I love this quote by Einstein where he talks about the imagination being key to everything. The more we can open up our imagination, the more we can open up our lives, and the more we can know ourselves. So that's it. Awakening, getting in touch with desires. Why? Desire connects you with the life force. And you have no choice in your desires. And then how do we develop our understanding, our awareness of our desires? Check-ins. And if I were a bitch, if I were a bad girl. Okay, that's it. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And as always, I wish you to have the most grace-filled, most beautiful life ever. That's the whole point of Jolie, is encouraging women to live beautifully, to live the best life that they have available to them, and to know where their power is, which we have so much that we don't even recognize. So I love you guys, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.